What do you hear? What do you say?
Welcome to Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Rock and Big Z.
Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave, this is the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Yes, sir.
Episode 105 is brought to you by 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, ACSI, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirts. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Go and get your official TCSF shirts now.
Go get them.
As always, I'm Big Z, and I hear my boy, E-Rock. What up, E?
What's up, Z? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show. If you are a first-timer or a long-timer, please remember to hit that subscribe button, that notify button, and go ahead and give us a review on your listening app of choice. You can find us on Facebook at True Chicago Fans. You can follow us on Twitter at True Chi Fans and on IG at True Chicago Sports Fans. And don't forget, you can support the show with a monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans. Go on over there and click on support, and you can subscribe for as low as 99 cents a month. Listen, do you like the show?
I do.
Are you a fan?
I am.
And tell your friends, and they will tell their friends, and we can all be friends. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy the content, please share it with other like-minded people who like the funny stories that we bring every single week, sports, news, and conversations. And, hey, look, we try to have a very unique perspective on what we're looking at, the same as you. So we want to hear from you guys. Let us know what you think about the show. Hit us up on the DMs, all that stuff, and we will bring up your topics. We will bring up your questions on the show, but please share the content with like-minded people. See, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Man, it's been a busy week, and kind of like you do, man, trying to be nonstop. It's crazy. I'm picking up and taking my nephew to summer camp now, so I'm waking up at 8 a.m. So that he can get there at 9 and whatever, and once I'm up, I'm productive. If I can have the opportunity to be lazy, then I'm going to be lazy and just binge out some shows or whatever. But laundry's done, dishes are clean, the house has been swept, the dog gets walked about 1.5 miles, almost 2 miles every morning now. But it's keeping me going, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's the summertime. You try and look for something to do. I'm not crying about you waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning because I started work at 7:30 in the morning, so I'm not crying about you. But, yeah, I understand what you mean, man. It's tricky, especially when you don't have specific things to do for that day. You try to stay productive. I can get up. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. I'll get up early as hell, like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and then, I'll do whatever for a couple hours, but then I'm usually like ready for a nap again around 9:30, 10 o'clock.
No, yeah, I get that too. I mean, I have my internal clock. I do wake up like at 6:30. I just turn over. I'm like, oh, what time is it? The sun is out. That's a little early. I'm going back to bed. But yeah, I can't do that anymore. I kind of program my sleep right now for that hourly. But yeah, like I told you, I've been busy. I joined our boy Sean, the Superback, on his show. Sean and I in the morning this past week, and we talked some White Sox baseball. So it was nice to be on his show after him being on our show. And then I was on the No Water on the Weekend podcast this past week, and it comes out this Friday with one of our friends, Steven Batista. So he's one of the bowlers at a bowling alley, and he's like, hey, you have a podcast? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I have one too. I was like, oh yeah, we're friends now.
Making friends, making connections.
That's right. Lastly, we were both at Estrella Negra for their beer release, their new beer release. It's a sour, it's a pineapple fusion. It's really, really, it's a different type of different type of tasting beer because not everybody likes sours. It is a kind of a light beer, but they have a collaboration. And we were out there. We didn't get to enjoy the carnitas because we got there a little early and the carnitas weren't ready, brother.
Yeah, I mean, we got there. The event was supposed to be 12 to 7. We got there about 1 o'clock. They weren't quite ready for the outside food. But we went inside. We had some of those the loaded fries, the nacho fries, essentially a couple of beers. And and we had a little bit of taste of the new beer. It's called Dance Loud Ghost Beer. It is a ghost with pineapple, cucumber, and honey ginger tea. So this is kind of a sour beer. This looks like it was a collaboration with the Dance Loud music crew, the little band that was out there, the jazz band. So that was pretty cool to see some live music set out there, in their little patio. They took over the patio that used to be behind the Quenchers bar right there on Western and Fullerton. If you're familiar with the area, you know exactly what we're talking about. So that little space that was behind there was essentially going unused, and our boy Otto, he became friends with the owner of the building, and he says, hey, he actually offered up the space, so now he's got that space outside. It's a great little area right there. We saw a lot of people kind of poking their heads over the fence trying to see where that music was coming from. So if you get a chance and you grab some grub over there at Estrella Negra, go ahead and check out their little patio section, man.
Yeah, it was definitely a great time, great food. Estrella always never disappoints in their food. We threw down a little bit of Modelos because that's our beer of choice. Some golden necks there. But how was your week? I know you're always busy. What did you do?
Man, let me tell you, it was extremely busy. I took off Friday and I took off Monday to have a nice little 4-day weekend. But even leading up to that, super busy. Another softball tournament we started during the week, a little 3-team tournament with some of the teams that we actually didn't get to play against during the season because we slid our team up to a 14U level, bringing up some girls that were actually probably around a very early 12U level that played in our organization this year. So we brought up a whole squad. We went in there, we did our thing. And Sunday night, we wrapped it up with another trophy for the squad, man. And considering the fact that we're playing true 14-year-olds and we came in with a lot of girls that were not quite even ready to be up at that level. We had a couple call-ups. I'm super proud of this team. Went out there, did their thing. And, I really am so proud of the way that this team has responded to any adversity that we faced, came back and just kind of made sure that they got the job done. No, I don't think we had any errors the whole game, so we were just tight, and it was just another great way to go out there and bring home a trophy.
That's awesome. Congratulations to the girls, to the coaches, and to you. I know you put in a lot of hard work as being the dad of a girl that's on the coach and to coaching the girls. But it just shows the commitment that everyone's putting in. The years that some of these girls have been in the program, and now, like you're saying, they're moving up within the program. Now they're going to 14U, and they're facing girls that have been playing a little bit longer and they're a little bit older, and they could have been intimidated, but they went out and showed out, and all they do is win, 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 no matter what.
That's right, baby. They look. We prep them up to know what they're looking at and prep up the parents. Hey, we're playing this tournament style. If we're gonna put the best players out there, your girl might not be playing the entire game. We're trying to win this thing, right? So if you want your kid to come home with a trophy, come home with a medal around their neck, that's how you got to play it. But
that's right.
We were able to pull it off and get it done. Look, man, we just had real busy. Friday we went over. We played tours downtown. We went in and checked out the Museum of Illusion, and then we made a stop by Margie's Candies in Bucktown. But I was walking around all downtown. I took a picture by the ESPN studios. Took a picture. My wife was making fun of me. I was like, how often we don't hang out downtown, right? We were doing the touristy thing downtown. So that was the whole point of that. So, yeah, Thursday night, went to the Cubs game for the first time in forever, sat in the bleachers. I couldn't even, I have not been to Wrigley since before they won the series, right? I seen the Cubs, I just hadn't been to Wrigley. So, this is the first time really seeing all the renovations, hanging out in the bleachers. I hadn't been in the bleachers for 20 years, right? So, it was fun to be out there. The Cubs didn't do that well, but, I mean, it was fun to be there. And you can see when people ask why did they pack the park, it's a good time, right? They did a really good job of renovating and making family friendly, making adult friendly in certain parts of the park, so you get out there, do your thing, and have a good time. So, it's if you haven't been to Wrigley, if it's been a while and you remember the old Wrigley, it's definitely worth the time and the effort to get out there. And bleacher seats were like $50-$60. It wasn't nothing to get up there.
Yeah, the bleachers have always been a mainstay and a calling for the bleacher bums and the diehards, right? The diehards go sit in the bleachers because that's where the party's at. That's where the good times are at. And it's summertime, so you want to get your tan, you want to get your sunshine, and then now with the renovations, now you have the ability to walk behind the bleachers. And now you don't have to go down and go look for a bathroom. It's easier to access a bathroom and the concession stands. But we had some friends out there. Who'd you meet up with?
Yeah, man, I saw my homie Robin out there. It was funny because, I was definitely not in the state of mind to be remembering people. Take it how you like. But yeah, so he hit me up. I just happened to post on Facebook that I was at the game and where I was. And it's funny because I'm so used to coaching at first base. He's like, hey, where are you? I'm not used to being in the outfield, right? So I'm like, yeah, I'm in left field, right? Which is incorrect because I'm just looking at it reversed. I'm looking at it from if I'm at home plate. So he tells me, I was walking towards right field because I sent him a picture. He's like, no, dummy. I said I was in left field. He goes, no, dummy, you're in right field. And I was like, oh, shit, you're right. I'm backwards because I'm looking at it from the other perspective. Right? So then he comes over. He's like, you dickhead. And I was like, look, man, first of all, I texted him halfway through the game because he mentioned something on Facebook, and then I forgot for about 40 minutes that I had texted him because then I was like, oh, shit, what? Wait, what? Oh, and then he even told his girl, he was like, I think he forgot about me. I says, look, Robin, the boy wonder, I didn't forget about you. So we went up there, we hung out, we talked for a little bit, and it was good to see him. I hadn't seen him since our reunion, man.
Oh, wow. Robin's always commenting on a bunch of our stuff and on my personal page as well. So he's a good friend of the show and a good friend to us.
Yeah, I've known Robin forever. I've always kind of teased him about being Batman's sidekick who really can't do shit. So good for you, Robin. But yeah, and I saw him, and then I saw my homie Chris that was at the game. I stopped by and had a quick beer with him after the game. He's the one that's always hits me up with Sox tickets, Bulls tickets, and stuff like that. So it was just nice to hang out with a bunch of work friends. My homie Steve, who I coach softball with, and then a couple other people from work, and then of course high school friends. It's always nice to see them. And look, we continued that tournament Sunday. We were super busy. We took on my Monday off, we took the kids to the movies. My little one had never been, so it has just been very busy. I'm exhausted, and even after these 4 days off, I'm ready for a nap.
Yeah, you're gonna fall asleep on the couch with your hands on your lap and whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah. With one hand, I'm gonna do Al Bundy, right? With a half warm beer in one hand and my other hand down my pants, and that's how it's gonna go.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're over 40.
Yeah, well, man, don't be.
I didn't say you're age. It's over 40. We're both over 40.
All right, before I go any further, I got a quick question for you. It is Monday night. We're watching the Home Run Derby, and I don't want to let this get too far. I need your predictions for who's going to win this Home Run Derby. If you look there, I have the bracket there for you. I'll read it off for you real quick. On the one bracket, you have Kyle Schwarber, who has 29 home runs on the season, against number 8 seed Albert Pujols, who only has 6. He's a legacy player. You also have Juan Soto from the Nationals with 20 home runs against Jose Ramirez from the Cleveland Guardians with 19. Let me get your picks on that side.
On this side, I say Kyle takes Albert. He takes him deep. And then you got Soto versus Ramirez. That one's a tight one. I will take Soto on that one. And then Soto taking that side of the bracket.
Okay, so you got Soto over Schwarber on the one side of the bracket. All right. And on the other side, we got Pete Alonso, who is a 2-time Derby champion. He has 24 home runs on the season against Ronald Acuna Jr. from the Braves with 8 home runs on the season. You also have Corey Seager, who I believe is now in the Texas Rangers with 22 home runs on the season against Julio Rodriguez from the red hot Seattle Mariners with 16 home runs on the season. Who you got on that side?
Peter Alonso is going to dominate Ronald Acuna. He's going to make him his little baby. And then Corey Seager and Julio Rodriguez. That's not even fair, man. That kid Julio Rodriguez is so white hot right now. It's unbelievable. So then you have Alonso, the 2-time champion, versus Julio Rodriguez. And you know what? I got to go with the champion. I'm gonna go with the 2-time champion coming out of there. And then my finale is...
All right, so, yeah, there we go. So now you got Juan Soto against Pete Alonso in the finals, sir. Who is going to be your champ?
3-time champion, Pete Alonso, baby.
Yeah, I'm taking the panda all day, man. That guy right there, polar bear. I'm sorry, he's the polar bear. He looks like a polar bear. It's hilarious. He kind of looks like he came from Zootopia. But yeah, I mean, this is whenever I play MLB on Xbox, I always pick him because I know I'm going to win when I do the home run derby, because that's literally, I'm not playing the whole 9 inning game, but I will play a home run derby all day. I'll throw Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, whoever it is. I put Pete Alonso when I know I'm going to win. So I win against myself, but it doesn't matter. So I just wanted to get that real quick before we get too deep and you can start seeing who's actually winning these rounds. But ladies and gentlemen, summer is here. Of course, we're looking at the Midsummer Classic here, and maybe you need a fresh start. So let me tell you about a great opportunity with our friends over at ACSI. With over 50 expert technicians in the Chicagoland area, ACSI offers a one-stop shop for telecom wiring, whether residential cable installation, fiber to the home, or commercial structured cable wiring. ACSI is a proud partner of both Comcast and Astound, powered by RCN. Fans, let me tell you the most impressive thing about ACSI. The ACSI crew did their thing during the COVID-19 pandemic, and ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year award. The best part is that ACSI is growing bigger and better than ever. ACSI is now hiring for field sales, technicians, and project managers. Check out acsi.tech, that's acsi.tech, and click on Careers to apply today. ACSI is an equal opportunity employer.
Go get you a job.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Please go get a job. This week, we have a lot of news. We got a little bit of tidbits about almost every team. A little bit of Blackhawks news. Bears make a big trade. The fire is here once again. Every time I read this, it gets disappointing.
Not this week.
And, of course, in 3 Up and 3 Down, we got tons and tons of baseball. A very special All-Star appearance for a Chicago Cubs outfielder. And, of course, all the stuff that's going on with the Sox, plus their replacement that's going to be playing in the game. But first, this is the Big Three with Big Z.
Thanks, E-Rock. I'm Big Z, and you're not. Now, for today's stories. Story number 1. Oh boy. This is the Idiot of the Week award right here, man. A U.S. tourist falls into Mount Vesuvius, the crater, after taking a selfie and survives. Yeah, talk about dumb luck. A 23-year-old Maryland man was rescued over the weekend after falling into the crater of Mount Vesuvius in Italy while taking a selfie. The man, identified as Philip Carroll, visited the famed volcano notorious for destroying the Roman city of Pompeii and blanketing it with the ash in 79 AD. With 2 family members on Saturday, according to Paolo Campelli. Sure, I'm going to go with that. The president of Presidio Preeminente Vesuvio, based at the top of Vesuvius, where the guides operate from. The family hiked up Vesuvius from the town of Ottavio and accessed the top of the volcano through a forbidden trail. Capelli told NBC News over the phone. The family took another trail close to tourists, even if there was a small gate and no access signs. That's what Capelli said. When the family reached the top of the 4,000-foot high volcano, Carroll stopped to take a selfie and his phone fell into the crater. He tried to recover it but slipped and slid a few meters into the crater and managed to stop his fall, but at that point, he was stuck. This is just like the lady who tried to go into the porta potty to get her phone, right? Except This is a fucking volcano, dude. What is he doing? Look, man, I mean, this is a Darwin Award recipient, but except he actually got it revoked because he survived, right? Yeah. If he would have just, kept diving into that lava, then he would have got the award. But unfortunately, for you, sir, you live on, and it's probably not any better for anyone else in this world. Yeah, you big dummy.
You big dummy.
All right, story number 2, and this one's a little sad. I'm sorry to report sad news, but a ex-NASCAR driver, Robert Bobby East, fatally stabbed at California gas station. The former NASCAR driver, Robert East, known as Bobby, was fatally stabbed on Wednesday in Westminster, California, the authorities said. The suspect in the stabbing was killed on Friday in an officer-involved shooting. Well, there goes karma. According to the statement from the Westminster Police Department on Saturday, officers responded just before 6 p.m. on Wednesday to a stabbing at a gas station in Westminster, a city of Orange County, about 30 miles southeast of L.A. The officer found Mr. E suffering from a stab wound to the chest, and authorities said they rendered first aid until paramedics arrived and transferred him to University of California Irvine Medical Center. Adding that Mr. E later died from his injuries. He was 38.
Look, this is a sad story. I mean, it's so random because, I mean, you know, this guy was stabbed by a homeless man, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you know, a lot of times we hear about people doing something bad to the homeless man. The guy, the Marlboro man that walks around downtown in Chicago, he was actually set on fire.
Yeah.
And he survived, and I think he's doing okay. But he's still, you know, burned up pretty good. So this is kind of a weird situation. And unfortunately, I mean, this is just one of those things where, you know, he's just no longer around. He did not survive this attack. And it's a sad story, man.
Yeah, it's a sad story. Nobody wants to lose a loved one. But it just goes to show you the impact of the homeless issue that's plaguing our country, and the mental illness issue that's plaguing our country as well.
Yeah, and especially like, you know, especially in LA, I mean, it's a warm weather city. So you have, what are they called? Skid Row over there. And, you know, again, a unfortunate situation. I wish he had a different outcome, but, you know, hey, we can only celebrate his life at this point.
That's correct. All right. Story number 3. This one really got me, man. I don't know how this happens in our city, but it happens. A man is arrested after allegedly climbing into the conductor's compartment on a CTA train. Yeah, that's ours. We're going to claim that one. A man has been arrested after he allegedly climbed into the conductor's window at a CTA Blue Line train. Oh, wow, right by my house. Forcing the operator to power down the train Saturday evening. According to authorities, the incident occurred at the Cicero Blue Line station in the 700 block of South Cicero, just after 7:30 p.m. this past couple Saturdays ago. Police said the 30-year-old man saw the conductor's window was open on the train, and he climbed through the window into the operator's seat. The conductor realized what had happened, was able to power down and secure the train before the substance could potentially have piloted away from the station. CTA then personnel called 911, and the man was captured nearby after police spotted him fleeing the scene. No property damage or injuries were reported, and the charges are pending against the suspect. This dude was playing GTA.
It's look, GTA and the CTA, right?
That's
like
right.
It's funny. It's just this is a funny story. I mean, like, clearly he could have been hurt pretty badly, but I mean, like, you know, the fact that he was able to get in there and pull some like Spider-Man shit, you know what I mean? Like, we've seen this in the movies several times. So him just kind of swooping down and be like, "Here I am, guys." Where did you think you were going?
I don't know how hard it is to operate a CTA train. I really don't. I mean, I know there's a lever and there's a couple buttons, but I mean, you got to know some kind of sequence. And I was more concerned about the passengers, because, you know, it could be 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 cars on that thing. I don't know. You know, at 7:30 at night, I don't think it's that busy. It's probably a 4 or 6 car train, but like, man, the possibilities of what it could be, because you don't know how fast you're supposed to go on these curves and these hills. It could end as a catastrophic event. So thank God that he was taken out early.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, that is the tricky thing, is to make sure that everyone's safe, even though we're over here laughing about this story. I mean, how many times that during, you know, when you're riding the CTA, especially back in the day, when it's like, do not move from car to car, and you're like, I'm going to move from car to car, right? Like, the first thing you do is go from car to car.
Everybody
and
does
it's
that.
kind of fun. And sometimes I've seen people just hang out between the cars. That's dangerous too. But I've never seen anyone actually like jump in and be like, "I got you, bitch."
All right. I'm Big Z, and that's news to me. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
We all know that 2020 was no joke, and with an ever-changing world climate, many people are looking for a new opportunity.
Guys, are you looking for a career that rewards effort and makes you feel valued as a team member? Let me tell you a little about our friends at ACSI. ACSI is a certified RCN business agent. They provide the same RCN services with a personalized touch. Their sales and technician teams work hand in hand, ensuring your experience will be smooth and pleasant. Gone are the days of being transferred from one person to the next. At ACSI, they handle everything from start to finish. It's never been so easy to get internet service. ACSI is a growing Chicagoland company that encourages personal growth and rewards perseverance. As they expand, they're looking for passionate, responsible, and honest professionals to join their team. A career with ACSI means you will be part of a hardworking, flexible, and dynamic team that is a leader in the installation of cable and internet services in the Chicagoland area. Best of all, ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year Award. Are you ready to grow with a local Chicago company on the rise? Check out acsi.tech and click on careers to get started. That's acsi.tech and click on careers.
Hey guys, this is Mike Deportes and you're listening to True Chicago Sport Fan Podcast.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Yes, sir.
This is The Loop, our Chicago sports roundup where we keep you in the loop.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Yo, E, I want you to hear something.
But hey, as they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, this is a sad story for the Blackhawks. I mean, like, as someone who's I'm not gonna lie, I don't think either one of us are gonna sit here and tell you that we're longtime fans of the Blackhawks. But they're gonna make more changes. This is not a good one. See what happened with Edzo, man?
The Blackhawks continue to make changes, and this one just baffled me, man. The latest one is not re-signing Eddie Olczyk. So I wanted. He was on Waddle and Sylvie this afternoon. We're actually filming on Monday, or rather recording on Monday, and this is what he had to say.
What happened, Eddie?
Well, look, first off, this was my decision. We know business and contracts, and we just could not come to an agreement. And there was a deal on the table, and I just felt that at this particular time that I would step back and it's been a hell of a run. I had an incredible conversation today with Rocky. I had an incredible conversation with Danny and Jamie. Not easy, but just incredibly thankful for the last 16 years, and always been, and I always will be. I will always feel I'm attached to this franchise. But I just felt that the time was now for me to take a step back and reassess and look at contracts and negotiations. You guys talk about it all the time, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it always is about the almighty dollar and terms and things, but I'm not going to get into that. I know there's lots of rumor and speculation. I am not getting into that. I have the utmost respect for this franchise, for my home, and the way that Rocky and his family have always treated me and my family, and this is what made this decision so hard, is to drive to the United Center earlier today and have that face-to-face conversation and letting them know I am exploring other opportunities, and just at this particular time I'm going to take a step back. So obviously a very emotional time. It's been very emotional for the last couple of weeks of thinking and debating and communicating with my closest confidants in the realization of making this ultimate decision.
That was Eddie Olczyk on the Waddle and Sylvie show on ESPN 1000. I'm going to let you go first.
So, I mean, look, this is when I was talking about my favorite Cub of all time, right? I talk about Ron Santo. I mean, even this weekend watching Marquee Network, I watched his story once again, just because he is the player who was not playing anymore that made me fall in love with Cubs baseball, right? Listening to Ron Santo describe the game on the radio put that fire in my heart, made me as passionate as him about Cubs baseball. And when you hear Eddie Olczyk, that is who you think about when you think about Cubs or Blackhawks broadcasters, right? So, I mean, that's right there. That's where it hurts. And you can hear the hurt in his voice.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear pain that everything that he's been through with this team, with this organization, from the fact that when he had, I think it was pancreatic cancer, he went through all that. It was either pancreatic or colon cancer he had not too long ago, right before Sylvie had cancer. And everything we've seen him go through with his time with the Blackhawks, his relationship with Chicago, his relationship with the Waddle and Sylvie show and those at ESPN 1000, and it sucks, man. This is another thing that's gonna push Blackhawks, the fans like you and me who are casual fans. This is going to push us away from the team. Just seeing that you sit there and you can't find out a way, you can't figure out a way to make this work on both sides. He says it's his decision because he's trying to save face for the franchise.
Yeah, so I mean, you took a lot of words out of my mouth here, but you can hear the pain that of him just trying to describe it. And the reason he went on that show is because he's friends with these guys and he's doing them a solid to give them that exclusive. And I found out that he signed on with the Kraken. Yep. So he's calling. He's going to call play-by-play for the Kraken, and they just acquired a voice that's gonna be ingrained in the new organization for their new fans. So that's the voice that they're going to hear for years to come, and that's their hockey voice. We just lost another staple. We just lost Pat Foley to not being re-signed as well. So now we don't have two guys who do national games, who get pulled for national games, that were doing the local hockey broadcast, that were literally pretty much like Madden and what's the other guy's name?
Pat Summerall. Pat
Summerall, right. So think about it that way. Like, those are the voices you understand that, growing up, that was your voice for football. This was the voice for hockey. And they would describe hockey and teach it to you at an easy level for you to understand. And that's what I enjoyed about watching hockey and their enthusiasm, because they're both Chicago guys.
Right. I mean, these are the guys, like, when you come into a sport that you don't understand, right? They find a way to make it more interesting for the casual fan, like someone like you and me, who did not grow up with hockey. Who, we when we were kids, or even as recent as early 2000s. It wasn't even on TV, right? So, I mean, there was no connection at all to the fans as casual fans like you and me to the team. So, it hurts to see him go. And, we've seen all the changes that the Blackhawks have made, whether it's because of things that they did to shoot themselves in the foot, not taking care of the situation with Kyle Beach, things that they've done to not find a way to kind of re-up the organization after, being down for so many years and having a good run in the 2010s. And, I'm becoming more and more disenfranchised with this, with this organization by the day. They did release a statement on the matter. They said, for 16 seasons, we are fortunate to have legendary broadcaster Eddie Olczyk bring Chicago Blackhawks hockey into the homes of our fans. We're going to miss him as much as our fans will. Though we are disappointed to learn today he has decided to go in another direction, Eddie will always be a part of the Blackhawks family. We appreciate his many contributions and wish him well in future endeavors.
Horseshit. Complete and utter horseshit. That organization is a dumpster fire, and right now they're trying to rid themselves of anything that has to do with anything from the past. They're at some point they're going to trade Kane, probably mid-season, and they'll probably get a bag of chips for Taves because he hasn't been as the healthiest thing. And they both got like about a year left on their deal. So they're going to get traded. And then they're going to tank, and they're going to try to get the one 16, 17-year-old that made the national team for Canada or whatever. That's what they're hoping for. They're literally going to burn it to the ground and start from scratch. And like you said, you're going to alienate all the casual fans, the Chicago fans that were supporting the bandwagon during the championship runs. And it really, really sucks because I never went or heard about ice hockey, until I went with my dad on a free ticket. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Where can I watch this? Oh, you can't. What do you mean you can't watch a professional team? You can't. They don't play them on TV. That was the stupidest thing ever. And that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, and that comes down to that comes down to the organization, that it comes down to the ownership, right? That's really what that the final, word in who stays and who goes, that's what it comes down to. So that's the frustrating thing. And speaking of that, Patrick Kane, he did formally come out and request a trade right before the draft. So I mean, there's a lot of teams out there they're going to be pursuing him, just like, the Blackhawks did when they got Marian Hossa, right? You can have a guy who could be a very, very good, very good NHL player to add to your team when you're looking to, go over the top. Now, don't forget that the Rangers made it, I think, to the East Finals, and that's exactly a team that should pursue Patrick Kane, because they're just one more piece away from going ahead and winning a championship. They weren't able to overcome some mistakes, and they fell to the Tampa Bay Lightning, who went on to lose in the Stanley Cup Finals this year. But look, I mean, we're just watching this team just completely disappear in front of our eyes. And it is what it is. Look, I mean, they won that first title in 2010, then 2013 and 2015. I mean, we're over here right at this point. We're already 7 years removed from their last championship, and we know that Duncan Keith retired, Sharp retired, Bufflin got traded, like Corey Crawford retired. They've been trying to fill that hole at goaltender for years now. And, we're just watching, as even with a guy like DeBrincat, I mean, he's a young guy, 24 years old, ship him off. I don't know what direction this team is going in, unless, like you said, they're just completely trying to tank all the way, which I can't understand how you could even perceive anything else at this point, considering what they've done in the last 3 seasons. So, I mean, it is what it is, and hopefully they can bring a new generation of players up here for us to appreciate, because otherwise, like I said, I really have no interest in watching Chicago Blackhawks hockey right now.
Yeah, they're going to be left off the show for a little bit.
Yep.
All right, Ian, let's move over to a organization that's just a hair better than the Blackhawks, the Chicago Fire. Ugh. Oh, look at the excitement just oozing. The Chicago Fire won 1-0. All right, moving on to the Monsters of Midway. E, what do you got?
Look, I'll tell you what I got. You want to talk about oozing? The only thing that's oozing is the fire oozing down their leg when they take a crap every time they take the field. Okay, I just want to make sure that we're loud and clear that I did not endorse or condone that 15-second segment, and I will take no part in that. But I will talk about the Monsters of the Midway. That's right, baby, the Chicago Bears. The Bears on Wednesday acquired veteran receiver N'Keal Harry from the Patriots in exchange for a 2024 7th-round draft pick. Selected by New England with the 32nd overall choice in the first round of the 2019 draft out of Arizona State, Harry has appeared in 33 games with 18 starts over 3 seasons, catching 57 passes for 598 yards and 4 touchdowns. His most productive campaign was in 2020 when he had 33 receptions for 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. Last year, the 6'4", 225-pounder played in 12 games with 4 starts, catching 12 passes for 184 yards. Look, this is a guy right here who probably needed a fresh start. I mean, there was word out of New England that he was kind of immature. He had 1 season, I think, with Tom Brady. He had a season with Cam Newton, and he had a season here with Mac Jones. So, I mean, like, he's been all over the place with the quarterbacks he's been able to play with. It doesn't sound, it's unfortunate when you're a rookie, you get to play with Tom Brady and he darts, and then you got to sit there and figure out Cam Newton. And so you're already going to be your 4th quarterback this quick in your career. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do. But I mean, look, the Bears been looking for a taller receiver. This is a guy that's 6'4". A lot of their other receivers that they brought in are sitting there at 6'1", 6 foot. So I mean, even under 6 feet altogether. So I mean, it's good to see them them kind of go after a guy. He's a young guy. He's only 24 years old. And look, I mean, sometimes this is the perfect kind of guy, a first-round pick, and it sounds like he probably just needed a fresh start.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. You're giving up a 7th round, which isn't worth much, even though the old regime was good at picking up players in the later rounds. But you're taking a flyer on a guy who has a lot of talent. But like you said, the reports came out that he was immature. And sometimes those guys need a fresh start. They need a fresh team, a fresh organization to treat them differently. And like you said, he was going on his third quarterback, fourth quarterback. And he also had like 2 coordinators. So, I mean, that's a big shuffle. It kind of sounds like what the Bears were going through. The Bears are shuffling everybody in as the coordinators and the receivers and the quarterbacks. That carousel does not is conducive to anything productive. So I hope that he figures it out here. I mean, everyone's starting from scratch, from zero right now. He's got a pretty good quarterback that's mobile, that can be able to find him and throw the ball at him. At 6'4", 225 pounds, he's a big boy, and if he figures it out, he definitely be our number 2.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a big guy. He has the potential to be the number 1 wide receiver on this team. I mean, you got Darnell Mooney, who is a slot guy more than anything else, but I mean, he can play on the outside. They have plenty of receivers on this team that are looking for a fresh start, so it'd be interesting. But I mean, I've seen reports from the talking heads out there saying, this is the worst roster in the National Football League. They have the worst receivers and this and that. I mean, look, you got a brand new head coach, you got a brand new coaching staff up and down the line. I mean, you know that your defense should be pretty solid. They spent some draft picks going after some secondary pieces that they needed out there. You still have Roquan Smith. I mean, you have a lot of players on this team that are young. They're looking for their opportunity. They're hungry because you trim the fat. You don't have Hicks anymore. You don't have Khalil Mack. You don't have a lot of these guys that were getting older than in their early to mid 30s. So, I mean, they are looking very young, but at the same time, this just means there's the potential there. They don't have the bad habits yet, right? So, I mean, there is a lot of opportunity here to see what this team can do. Of course, we're going to see fans like, oh, they're going to win the Super Bowl because they're the Chicago Bears and blah, blah. I don't want to hear none of that mess. I think if in order to not be disappointed with this team, you have to be realistic, because I see the same thing with the Cubs all the time. They need to get rid of Ross. They need to do this. We knew what this team was when you came into it. So if you come into this Chicago Bears season with the right state of mind, with the right mind frame, then you should be able to understand what's happened and look for the good development instead of just focusing on the bad things, because it's not going to be great for the Bears this year, but they have a lot of potential going forward.
Yeah, we have a lot of pieces. We have, a pretty good running back. I think the offensive line should be a lot better than it was last year. I think that's going to be one of the main focuses is protecting your quarterback. Again, we have a lot of receivers. We don't know who's going to pan out, who's going to stay on the team after the mini camps and all that. But like you said, we don't have a baseline right now. It's a new organization. We have a bunch of new players. Everyone's starting with a fresh page. So there is no baseline. So don't expect them to win a Super Bowl, but at the same time, they're not going to go 0-17, all right? They're going to win, I think, about 4 to 5 games. And if they win any more, that'll be bonus.
I mean, if you look at their schedule, I mean, I think they have the potential to win, maybe go 500. Just depends on if they get a couple balls fall their way or not. I mean, That's kind of how it has been with the last couple years with Matt Nagy. But, I mean, again, like you can't count. You got a brand new guy, Justin Fields. Is really going to kind of come out now, right? Just the same way that they did with Mitch. They kind of switched things up on him after the first season when he had John Fox for his rookie season. But we can see what the development is going to be at Justin Fields, how he's going to gel with his new coaching staff. You got a brand new coordinator coming over from Green Bay as their quarterbacks coach, who has been with Aaron Rodgers, who understands. You're looking at 2 guys who have a very similar skill set as far as their mobility. Justin Fields is definitely more athletic than Aaron Rodgers, so it should be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of running on this team. They brought in a true fullback on this team. They're loaded at running back, so David Montgomery should have another really good season. There is a lot of potential on this team. It really comes down to on the offensive side of the ball, like you said, the line. This is a pretty new line. A couple of guys that are very young. Tevin Jenkins need to show out and see what he can do. There's a couple of pieces on there that are brand new, guys that are excited, guys that are hungry. So again, I'll say this just the way I described the Cubs at the beginning of the season. This is a team that's going to smack some guys in the mouth and take a couple games that they had no business winning, right? And that's what we can hope for, and hopefully it's just another building block. You can't jump from the bottom to the top. Step by step by step. In 3 years, we'll really be able to tell what this coaching staff and what this quarterback is all about.
100%, I agree with you. We're looking at it. We have to give them the time to grow. All right, don't panic. Don't panic. All these kids are young. New coaching staff, everything's brand new. There's gonna be some kinks, and like you said, the ball's gonna bounce in our way, maybe a game or two, and we're gonna spoil some shit. And you know what? Those are the games you're like, oh yeah, now we can turn it around. Relax.
Yeah, momentum is everything. Momentum is everything, especially in football. So I mean, you got this is again. Fans, just be patient, be realistic about your expectations for this team. We've spent so long waiting out, right? Brett Favre. Then they get Aaron Rodgers, who's better than Favre. We've spent so much time waiting these guys out, just the way the Knicks waited out for Michael Jordan to retire, and that didn't help him out any, right? So We're at that point right now. Let's just take a chill pill and relax. In more Bears news, a sad note. Former Bears punter and tight end Bob Parsons passed away last Friday at the age of 72. He was selected by the Bears in the 5th round of the 1972 draft out of Penn State. Parsons played his entire 12-year NFL career in Chicago from 72 to 83, appearing in 170 games. He served as their primary punter throughout that time, averaging 38.7 yards on a franchise record, 884 punts. That means that they were pretty shitty. He led the NFL in both punts and punt yardage in 1981 and 1982.
Yeah, those were the bad news Bears. The Bears that couldn't move the ball. That's why there's so many damn punts. So, rest in peace, Mr. Bob Parsons. All right, fans, let's take a pause for the cause, and we'll be right back with 3 Up and 3 Down after a word from our sponsor.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Oh, yeah.
This is 3 Up and 3 Down.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
Yo, E, let's talk some baseball. What's going on the north side?
Go, Cubs, go. Go, Cubs, go. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gone.
Hey, listen, this is a really, really cool story. 13 months after being benched with a 182 batting average, Ian Happ will be making his first All-Star appearance as reserve outfielder.
I can see why people say it goes really fast because it is a whirlwind. Awesome just getting out here with Wilson, our families, enjoying that and enjoying the first night together. But really cool riding the bus in with all these guys, and I'm excited to kind of soak all in over the next couple of days.
Happ will join teammate Wilson Contreras, who is the NL's starting catcher for the All-Star Game tonight on July 19th in L.A. The game will be a family affair for Contreras, whose younger brother, Atlanta Braves' William Contreras, is also going to be on that squad as a reserve. Because of Bryce Harper's fractured thumb, William Contreras will join Wilson in the starting lineup as a DH, so he is a starter. Aaron and Brett Boone were the last pair of brothers to make the same All-Star game in 2003, and the last brothers to start on the same All-Star team were Roberto and Sandy Alomar in 1992.
I mean, this is a really cool story. This is a redemption story for Ian Happ, who has shown that he is an actual MLB player. He's always had pretty good defense, but his bat wasn't there, and now he is an all-star. So you talk about an ultimate redemption story, and a lot of people were mad that, because there was a lot of people that were snubbed, but, you can't choose who they select. Some people get upset that, I know we're upset that we ceased it, he got snubbed, but I don't know what the process is. I really don't know what behind the scenes process of selecting someone else, to replace somebody. I don't know what that process is. So, you know what? I'm happy for the Cubs. I'm happy Ian Happ got in there, and I want to see him play a little bit.
Look, yeah. I mean, I'm happy for Happy, right? That's where we're at right now, and the fact that he has come full circle after struggling. I mean, he right now, when we look up and down at the Cubs roster, when everyone wants to talk about Wilson Contreras being a trade candidate, but I mean, there could be a team out there that's looking to add, and Ian Happ could probably be brought in on the cheap. But considering the fact that he's now going to be attending an All-Star game, right, his first one, it makes his value an all-time high. So there is a possibility you might see him on the move. Wherever he goes, whatever he does, I wish him all the best. I mean, there are certain players on this team, especially guys from that 2016 championship team that we forget about, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's a super cool moment for Ian Happ. But like I said, don't be surprised if he's no longer on the north side at the end of the season.
Yeah, that would be a great trade chip to get some young guys back. And, I mean, you don't want Wilson to move. We already discussed that, business-wise, that'd be a good thing to do. But as a Cub fan, you don't want that. But Ian Happ, you would be upset if he left?
Would I be upset? I mean, to me, he's not yes, he's a Cub, but and he's had his moments with the Cubs. I mean, going back and forth during the pandemic, he had a podcast talking about all the things that were going on when they had to be in quarantine, the people that they practice with. But I mean, am I going to be super upset about Ian Happ leaving the Cubs? Not really. I mean, as upset as I was when Ryan Theriot was traded away from the Cubs, right?
The riot.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And then Mike Fontenot, wasn't Theriot called the pocket rocket?
Whoa.
So I mean, am I going to be super upset about it? Not necessarily, but I mean, I just think it's when I look at guys that would be a good trade chip, I understand the whole thing about Contreras, about business and this and that or whatever. But I mean, I think he's way more valuable to the team as it is, and versus Ian Happ. So I mean, if they can move him over and bring in some young guys, I mean, that's I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Gotcha.
Speaking of young guys, the Chicago Cubs selected pitcher Cade Horton with the number 7 overall pick in the 2022 MLB Draft. This marks the second year in the row that the Cubs grabbed a collegiate arm in the first round following the selection of Kansas State's Jordan Wicks at number 21 last season. Chicago kept building up its inventory of pitching prospects in the second round of this draft, picking up prep lefty Jackson Ferris out of IMG Academy in Florida in the second round with the number 47 overall pick. They also picked up Christopher Pasiolia, sure, that guy. This guy is a shortstop, and that is in round 3, pick number 86. It looks like they also picked up Nazir Mule. These are weird. The baseball guys always have the weirdest names.
They do.
But yeah, so they got another pitcher. I mean, they went super pitcher heavy on this one. This is a high school senior, a 6'3", 210 guy. So I mean, that's a pretty hefty guy there. And their 5th pick in the 5th round, 143, Brandon Birdsell out of Texas Tech, another pitcher. So they're super pitcher heavy in their draft. And I think, with all the trades they made for fielders, right, and all these guys that we're waiting to see that's coming up, right, now they're starting to backload all of their prospects with pitching, because again, pitching is always going to get you more when you're trying to get them on the trade market. So that's a possibility as well.
Oh yeah, 1,000%, and that's something that you guys were always drafting hitters and buying pitching, and it looks like the new regime is going on the opposite direction and drafting pitching so they can develop it, and maybe complement that with signing big name free agents, because they do have the money that the Dodgers and the Yankees and everyone else has. So I think that'll be a good way to rebuild that organization.
Yeah, I mean, and we're a couple of years past them starting the Marquee Network, so they should have plenty of money coming in now. Just a quick update. Schwarber actually only tied Pujols at 13 home runs apiece, so now they're in their their bat off, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, man, we'll see. I mean, shit, maybe Pujols pulls it off and goes on to the next round.
That would be an awesome way to continue his swan song, because right now he's actually pretty hot.
Yeah,
he's swinging it away.
Swing looks good right now.
Right now it does, yeah, because before his home runs were barely going over the fence, and the thing is that he played there, and he had batting practice there, so he should know the dimensions and how to get a home run and so forth. But yeah, right now Schwarber is in deep shit because he's going to be down 7 home runs. Yep, 7 home runs in this swing off. So
wow, what the hell did they put in that guy's Gatorade?
You saw that Simpsons episode. You know what they put in there.
Okay, no comment. At least Pujols was always a big guy. He didn't his head just didn't swell over the years.
Oh, well, thank you, God, for getting that reference.
All right, Z, we're looking at the All-Star break right now. I'm sure you got plenty to talk about this first half on the South Side.
White Sox, White Sox, go, go, White Sox. Let's go, 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 White Sox.
Yes, sir. The White Sox finally made it back to 500 by opening the floodgates of offense on the Twins with 32 runs in 4 games, taking 3 out of 4 to climb back up to 3 games back out of first. Last week, we were talking shit about the team and saying who needs to step up and put up or shut up. And there were, I think, about 6.5 games out at that point. So it looks good. The offense is there. The defense is there. The pitching has been mostly there, except for that Lance Lynn clunker. I still don't think he's ramped up all the way, just because of, he didn't really have a spring. He got hurt during spring training. So I would say give him another month and he'll be okay. The big bastard, his velocity, his strikeout rate and home run rate, all that stuff is not going in the right direction at the moment, but he'll be okay. So there's good news. We got Liam Hendricks named to the All-Star Game. He'll be joining Tim Anderson. Unfortunately, Cease, who leads MLB in strikeouts and had the lowest ERA in the past 2 months. And he also just surpassed Chris Sale, making it to 500 strikeouts in 472.1 innings. So he edged out Chris Sale by like 15 or 20 innings. So, I mean, this dude is just dealing left and right. This kid is a monster. He's now your number one. Wow. Pujols just pulled it off.
Wow. And Schwarber's over there giving him the, worshiping him with the...
yeah, I'm not worthy.
Not worthy. We are not worthy. I wonder if Schwarber pulled back a little bit to give this guy some respect.
That would be awesome if he did. That's how you show respect, right?
I think you win $1 million. Schwarber just got a big contract, and Pujols has all the money in the world, so I don't think that's a factor. But or he's like, I am Albert. I give you $1 million.
All right, back to White Sox business. Oh man,
you better stay out of White Sox business.
I can't find that clip. I would need that clip in my life. All right, let's move on to the injuries. Lou Bob isn't feeling well. He's got some preliminary tests being run. Looks like he had some kind of headache issue, an eye issue. But to be honest with you, he's been looking like a mediocre outfielder out there. He's been taking bad routes to the ball, dropping fly balls. He's not the same Gold Glover that we've become accustomed to. So he might need some angels in the outfield at this point.
Are you sure he wasn't mediocre?
Ooh, good callback. Anyways, moving on. Eloy, a.k.a. Spider-Man, is back his day-to-day with cramping. Why is he cramping? It might be that time of the month. Scans were clean, so he should be back in the lineup this weekend versus the Guardians. Tony Russo said there's still no timetable for Grandal's return on lower back spasms, but he said Grandal's pretty much hitting left and right out there in the minor leagues, and you can take that with a grain of salt, but he should be back as well. This weekend against the Guardians.
Look, Spider-Man needs to. This is the thing that always cracks me up when people are like, "Thanks, Cubs." I'm like, "Look, you got Cease. You got Cease for Q, right? That's what it is." Because Eloy ain't doing shit.
No,
and I don't see any future for him. I'm sorry. I mean, he's just playing so bad, and he cannot stay healthy to save his life. We know that the big bugaboo for the White Sox all season has been that injury bug. And, we see them slowly start climbing back to where they need to be. But, I mean, if you look at the way that this team is loaded, if you remember at the beginning of the seasons, a lot of people were saying that Lou Bob can win the MVP. Well, it ain't happening because he's just not healthy. Nobody on this team is healthy, and it shows every single game. They have to fight tooth and nail every time to get where they need to be and just to try to win a game. And that is going to wear down the team a lot quicker than it should. I'm hoping that they can find a way to make a move because they are definitely going to need some help before the trade deadline.
Yeah, I still think they need another pitcher because they're monitoring Kopech's innings because he's never pitched this long. Remember, he took that year off and so forth, and they're babying his arm. So they might look to get another pitcher because Vince Velasquez is not something that you want. Johnny Cueto has been, he's been sent from God to help out the White Sox. But Lance Lynn is not ramped up yet. You got Giolito's not the Giolito of before. I mean, he's getting better, but he's not pitching like Cease is. And then the rest of the rotation, it's kind of like, oh, well, we'll see what we get. You really don't know what you're going to get. So you do need help there. You do need I think you still need another a left-handed bat. And we talked about this in a couple episodes ago or whatever it was last episode. We talked about Benintendi, but I don't see them giving him up in the same division.
No, and I mean, like, it is the Royals, so I mean, it's not like it's not like it's the Twins or something like that, or even the Tigers for that matter. I mean, it's the Royals. Do the Royals? Does anyone in the Central even care about the Royals? I mean, Royals fans are probably like, who? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, like, if you can find a way to get prospects. Now, we know that the White Sox have given away a lot of prospects recently, and whoever that they didn't give away is now up with the big league club. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see who they're going to sit there and try to target, but they're definitely going to need another pitcher, before they head into the playoffs. 1,000%.
All right, speaking of young guys, the MLB Draft for the White Sox, well, they didn't have to go looking too far. For their first-round MLB draft choice in 2022 with the 26th pick overall, the White Sox selected Noah Schultz from Oswego High School. I was able to find a clip of them calling him.
With the 26th pick of the 2022 MLB Draft, the Chicago White Sox select Noah Schultz, a left-handed pitcher from Oswego East High School in Oswego, Illinois.
Lefty, touching 98 this spring. A ton of confidence in his slider. Impressive. Hello.
Noah Schultz, Mike Shirley, Chicago White Sox. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm really excited.
And we're really excited to have you. I mean, it's just a tremendous opportunity for yourself. We're so proud of you for welcoming you to this organization. I think your talent speaks for itself. You do a marvelous job controlling that frame, how easy you move. We believe in what you do presently and what we can build in you in the future.
I mean, they go on and on for a little bit, so I don't want to play the whole clip. But it's awesome when you get to see these draft or war rooms, and you see everyone there excited that they got their guy that they were really going after. He's 6'9", and he it looks like he's going to forego his commitment to Vanderbilt and actually sign with the White Sox. So this guy is going to be a monster to come, and he's left-handed. He's going to be, obviously when they first start building him up, they're going to put him in the bullpen and see how he goes from there. But this is a great one. 18 years old, 6'9", 220 pounds, and the left-handed arm.
Yeah, I mean, look, we talk about, we don't know what's coming down the pipeline, especially for a team like the White Sox, whose most of their prospects, like I just said, has already come up to the major league level. So, I mean, they are really desperate to fill the cupboards again and try to reload that farm system that right now is just not very good. It's the same situation the Cubs were in when they were starting to kind of get better because all your major talent is coming up to the major league level, and then whoever else you kind of just send them away to kind of bring in some stopgap. So I'm glad that the White Sox are going after guys like this. It's cool that a kid from a local town, Oswego, is getting his chance with a local team. Yes, and it's pronounced Oswego. So, that was a very, very mediocre way to say that town. So I apologize on behalf of Big Z for the people of the town of Oswego, Illinois.
Oswego, that's right. He has a 94-96 fastball. He's got a slider with over 3,000 revolutions per minute. So that means that slider moves. He's got a changeup at 85. So he was projected to have first round stuff, and he was already committed to Vandy, which is one of the pipelines for the White Sox. And apparently, MLB is trying to copycat now because I think 6 or 7 Vandy players were drafted in the draft. So it looks like everyone found out where we're getting our players from. In the second round, they got Peyton Pallett, a right-handed pitcher out of the University of Arkansas. It's a 4-year junior, 6'1", 180 pounds. He's a right-handed pitcher, 21 years old. So there is their second pick. And then they got, let's see, who is it? Third round, Jonathan Cannon, right-handed pitcher out of Georgia, a 4-year junior, 6'6", 213 pounds, another right-handed pitcher. So obviously we're not going to see these guys for years, but it's exciting when you can see what's coming up in the pipeline when you follow the minor leagues and you say, oh wow, I've seen them from day one of the draft, and I've seen them mature and come to the system. And again, most of the guys don't make it to the major league ball club. They might become trade chips. You never know.
The thing is too is that when right now the White Sox are supposed to be a good team, right? You're not gonna remember the names of these guys that are getting drafted right now. But for a team like the Cubs, who are looking forward towards the future, we remember Ed Howard, right? We remember some of these names, another local guy. We remember some of these names of guys that we're waiting. All right, are they gonna come? Pete Crow Armstrong, when is he gonna come up? Like, there are guys and there are names in the Cubs system that we're waiting to see when they're gonna come up. So, as far as a team that's supposed to be much better, you might not be anticipating them as much, but hopefully they do pan out for the organization.
Yeah. Again, we're baseball heads. We're old, old baseball heads, so we enjoy this. I mean, which draft do you think is the most exciting for you?
NFL draft.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm not sitting here. Who's watching the damn no one's watching the baseball draft, because you're not going to see any of these guys. With you have the NBA draft, and only the first 3-4 picks are the really important, the really exciting picks, right? But when you look at the NFL draft, you're looking at, okay, you got free agency and you got the draft. Who are you going to sign? Who are you going to bring in on the draft pick? All of a sudden, you got a guy like Justin Fields who slides all the way down to the Bears, and now all of a sudden that's a big story. So you never know. And in the NFL, it's the one sport where, yes, you have it in the NBA, but if you are a halfway decent team in the NFL, one pick can, have an immediate impact, right? Quarterbacks who are rookies usually don't do too well. It takes 2-3 years for them to really kind of start snapping. Basketball, you can have a guy come in and just be good right away. But overall, when you look at the anticipation and the vitriol behind most NFL fans, that's going to be the most exciting draft.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that. But I've transitioned from the NBA being my favorite draft to the NFL, just because there's a lot more players that can impact the team right away. For me, I look at it okay, this is not a quarterback heavy draft. Okay, there's an offensive heavy draft. That means people are getting offensive linemen. That means they can shore up their line, or defensive line, whatever it is. You go towards your needs and you find what you got to do. You have your shopping list. For the NBA, sometimes it's not as superstar heavy. And sometimes you're like, oh, who are these guys? You might have seen them in the NCAA tournament, showing out, but that doesn't always translate to make it to the NBA team and to be productive. We've seen kings of the summer league not show out. We can speak to that from firsthand, because we've had Denzel Valentine show out and some other Bulls players show out during the summer league and not do anything for the team. So I'm switching over. I'm agreeing with you. NFL draft, then NBA, then baseball.
Yeah, no one's paying attention to the baseball or NHL draft. NHL draft just happened too. No one's paying attention to that shit. So, yeah, you know what? It's funny though, because now that we're kind of talking about the draft a little bit, it's very interesting when you see some of these second generation MLB players come up. We talked before about was it Al Leiter Jr. or Mark Leiter Jr.?
Mark Leiter Jr.
Al Leiter's son, actually, his real son, just got drafted. That is, what is his name? I just had his damn name here.
We're all over the place today.
Yeah, we are. But anyway, so like when you look at some of these picks that came up, Jackson Holliday, who is the son of Matt Holliday, he just got drafted. He was actually in a picture with his dad when he was with the Rockies when they were getting ready to go to the World Series a few years ago. Drew Jones, whose dad is Andrew Jones, he also got drafted too. So when we're looking back and forth at some of these second generation players, we look at, if you want to look at one team, look at the entire Toronto Blue Jays roster, right? They're filled with second generation players. So it is kind of cool. Justin Crawford, whose dad is Carl Crawford, who played a long time in the majors. So it is really, really kind of cool to see some of these. We've seen it before, but I mean, it seems like these kids that grew up in Major League Baseball in the 90s, into 2000s, coming into their own, coming into the MLB draft. We saw Darren Baker, who infamously almost got killed when his dad was coaching for the Giants. And he came across, he was playing bad boy, like 3 years old.
Yeah.
So now I want to, so this is really, really cool. Just a side note that I want to.
No, it's cool. Another name was Mark McGwire's son.
Yeah,
he got drafted too. So I mean, obviously, you can never tell if the son is going to be as good as his dad, or vice versa, or whatever it is. But I mean, for right now, it's exciting to see Vlad Jr. and BGO Jr. and all these guys, because it's nostalgic. So
I think BGO's son is Cavan, Cavan. Where you got that name, I don't know. Al Leiter's son is Jack Leiter. He was the number 2 overall pick of the 21 draft. And Darren Baker, who I mentioned earlier, he is a second base prospect for the Washington Nationals.
All right, let's finish off this White Sox segment. Upcoming for the White Sox, they have 4 at home versus the Guardians. Then they head off to Colorado for a pair. Those are 6 very winnable games. They should go 4-2.
Sure.
Thanks for the support, E-Rock. All right.
Hold up. You know how many times I'll complete a long ass thought and you're like, yep, I agree. Okay. Wait a minute. I was like, you got to help me out here, man. If I'm out here watching White Sox games, you got to watch Cubs games so you can interact with me on my part, right? That's how it works.
As long as they're not on the same time, I will watch a Cubs game. I have nothing against the Cubs. I really don't.
You might not have nothing against them, but I'm like, all right, so what, you're like, yep, they totally did that. Okay, let's move on to this. I'm like, you motherfucker. You got to help me out here, brother.
That happens. But I'm also looking at the clock on the timer over here and a bunch of other stuff. So, yeah.
You sound like the fucking teacher in Charlie Brown.
All right, fans. We'll be right back with Stirring the Pot after a quick word from our sponsors.
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
We all know that 2020 was no joke. And with an ever-changing world climate, many people are looking for a new opportunity. Guys, are you looking for a career that rewards effort and makes you feel valued as a team member? Let me tell you a little about our friends at ACSI. ACSI is a certified RCN business agent. They provide the same RCN services with a personalized touch. Their sales and technician teams work hand in hand, ensuring your experience will be smooth and pleasant. Gone are the days of being transferred from one person to the next. At ACSI, they handle everything from start to finish. It's never been so easy to get internet service. ACSI is a growing Chicagoland company that encourages personal growth and rewards perseverance. As they expand, they're looking for passionate, responsible, and honest professionals to join their team. A career with ACSI means you'll be part of a hardworking, flexible, and dynamic team that is a leader in the installation of cable and internet services in the Chicagoland area. Best of all, ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year Award. Are you ready to grow with a local Chicago company on the rise? Check out acsi.tech and click on careers to get started. That's acsi.tech and click on careers.
Hey, what's up? This is Lex Cruz from Jungle AE Recording Studios and Illinois Media School, and you are now listening to True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Yes, sir.
It's that time again, brother.
Uh-oh.
You know what time it is.
Oh, boy.
It's time for Stirring the Pot. All right, so we're gonna stay on the same topic right here, which is baseball. And as we're watching the home run derby, and this one is gonna go for the books, but a lot of people are having the disagreement of which platform or format. Format is a better word. Which format was better? So I'm gonna ask you this question, sir. For the home run derby, do you prefer the 10-out system, where you can hit as many home runs? But once you don't hit a home run, that's considered an out, and after 10 outs, you're disqualified, or then you move on forward.
Out.
Yeah, you're out, right? Or do you prefer the here's my 3 minutes, I get an extra timeout, and if I hit so many home runs, I get an extra 30 seconds?
Yeah, so what? Yeah, if you don't any hit that's not a home run would be an out, and that's in your 10-out format. And currently we at 3 minutes, and then you can earn a 30-second bonus by hitting a certain distance and a home run. So that's how you earn that. And I just know that from playing MLB The Show.
Gotcha.
Anyway, I'll say when I'm looking at the two formats, I mean, I would say the timed format is much better. It puts a little bit more pressure on the hitter and the pitcher to kind of make sure that, hey, you got to be consistent. Because I mean, look, baseball is not a timed game, right? So I mean, that could be the argument for the 10 outs. But I mean, when I'm looking at this right here, they got an at-bat where they can get a break. It's 30 seconds. They get the Gatorade. They get, the fan, the other players fanning them with the towel and all this mess and all that. But I mean, I will say that I prefer the timed format. It is a very unique thing where you never see the other part of MLB being timed, and it keeps it a bit shorter, right? You can kind of judge what the pace is going to be on how many home runs any hitter is going to get, like we see in the top right corner of the derby here. And it keeps it moving a little bit quicker because you actually have something to strive for as the opponent, I think.
This is the only gripe I have with the time thing, is that you could throw a pitch as soon as he hits the ball now. So before, you had to wait till it landed. Now, as soon as he throws a pitch, it hits it, boom, the pitcher resets, he's ready to go. So before, for the viewer, which all of us are, because it's hard to go to an All-Star game, you don't get to enjoy the home runs where they're landing and watch the projection and, oh, wow, that was 480 feet. Oh, wow, he just made it over the fence. He hit the foul pole. You don't get to enjoy the pitch by pitch and home run by home run. Now it's like, okay, swing. So it kind of feels like a pitching machine. Like, okay, gotta reset, let's hit. Gotta reset, let's hit. And as a viewer, it's hard to keep up with where the home runs are going because the two screens that they split screen are not really timed up.
I mean, they're not going to be timed up because you got one where you're showing the hitter, one where you're showing where the ball's landing. So I mean, like it's gonna, it's they're both in real time. You're just getting a split screen. The thing I'll say about this is that MLB has had a very large initiative about the time that it takes for any of their events. When it's game, they're trying to cut down any possibility of a 4-hour game. They try to keep it under 3 hours. 2.5 is if you're lucky, or if Mark Burley is pitching for you.
That's
right.
But
I mean, this is what I'll say is about that format, is that, like I said, it keeps it shorter. That's been their initiative for so long. And, I mean, you can kind of follow around both at the same time. Puts pressure on the batters, it puts pressure on whoever they pick to pitch for them. And, right now we're already looking at a derby, which is not even in the final round. We're still in the semifinals, and it's already been 2 hours. And you have 8 competitors, yes, but it's already been 2 hours. Yeah. And we're still not even to the final.
No, and that's it. That's the only gripe I had, is just I loved watching, for them to admire their home run and see where it lands, and then after it lands, then they can have another pitch thrown at them. But I mean, the good thing is that this is a faster moving event, obviously, right? This is what baseball wants you to do, is to make this a faster moving, more action all the time, so that way the fans are engaged. And the fans love the home run derby. Chicks dig the long ball, right? You got Rodriguez with 31. I mean, I can't remember the last time I see somebody in the 30s. And then, I think he had like 24, 25, 26, whatever, the first round. I mean, the kid's a monster.
That's what makes it even more impressive, that in that same time span, he's up here putting up 31. Pete Alonso is about to take his 1 minute bonus, and he's only sitting at 18.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's got to sit there and hit 12 just to get to 30, and then you got to hit 2 more to get to your 32, right? So I mean, you're talking about you got to hit another 14 home runs in a minute. You can only hit 18 in 3. So I mean, I don't know. I think the polar bear might be out. on this one.
That's a good thing I did not put any money on this event because
you never know.
No, looks now. No.
It would only be right for the young guy, on the hottest team in baseball to sit there with. I think the Mariners are sitting there at 14 wins.
Yeah,
in a
14
row.
14 in a row. And so it sucks that they have the All-Star break as soon as their streak is, at 14.
But I mean, but at the same time, you get a break. You can come in fresh. I mean, that's the thing is that's the only thing too about you're talking about the pitch before the ball is even finished
landing
its trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
Landed, sure. Thank you for using the correct word in what I was thinking. But your rhythm, you can keep up your rhythm by just sitting there and just he's not going to make. Alonso was out right here.
Yep. Wow. Well, there goes my pick to win.
That's amazing. Well, that's why I did it at the beginning of the show and not at the end. All right, brother. While we sit here and watch sports, I'm sure this is very compelling conversation for those at home who watched this last night and not this morning. As long as we're talking about watching things, what you looking at? What are you watching that isn't sports?
All right, man. I've been on a comedy binge, so I'm going to keep this nice and short. I watched 2 stand-ups. Dave Chappelle, what's in the name? This is his acceptance speech at the school that he went to, and he did an hour acceptance speech, and he talks about all different topics, and even the backlash of his last comedy special, and that people were complaining that his name shouldn't be on the theater and so forth. So it is a very compelling monologue. Because I don't think it's a comedy special. It's more of a monologue of his experiences there, how he's impacted the school afterwards, and his relationship with the school. And it's really deep. It really is deep. So if you have not seen that, it dropped last week. Dave Chappelle, What's in the Name? And you'll really enjoy the ending of it because it comes full circle.
Yeah, that one I did watch. So basically, what it was they were going to name. It was the I forgot the name of the school that he attended, but they were going to name the theater after him, and he talked about his experiences going to that school, becoming an artist, seeing that essentially what he said, it was like, hey, all the weird kids get to be weird, and no one's going to judge them. So I mean that's what that was about. And then after his last special came out, there was controversy about his comments about trans people and his stories and all that backlash. Then I think they actually revoked he either declined or they revoked the fact that they were going to name the school after him, and he still came out and made a speech about it either way.
So yeah, it's the Duke Ellington School for the Arts in Washington D.C. They wanted to name. They said, we want to name the theater after you, and that became the uproar because of the former comedy special and so forth. But he went and addressed the parents and the students there and explain his side of the story. And again, I go watch it. We can't put words in his mouth that are going to be that can be justify what you're going to see. So go see it. It's really touching. It's really full circle. It's one of the things I really enjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you were ever a fan of Chappelle, this right here will kind of, like you said, give it a full circle feeling of what happened. And he actually does explain when he left Chappelle's show, when he came back and did SNL for the first time, and what it was like for him to be gone all those years. And it's definitely, any fans of Chappelle, any fans of comedy, in the past 25 years, it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. All right, second comedy thing, and they just put this on HBO, was Bob's Burgers movies. Bob's Burger movie.
Oh, the full movie?
Yeah, they had a full movie in the theater, and now it's on HBO. It is, if you're a fan of Bob's Burgers, they did you justice. It is so freaking funny. There's so many levels of jokes where it's like, oh, here's a kid's joke. But then if you really listen to it and you look at what's going on, there's an adult joke there too. So, I could not stop laughing. I was actually laughing out loud, LOL. So Bob's Burgers are dealing with a banking issue where they have to pay the loan and they have to pay the rent, and then there's a sinkhole that happens in front of the restaurant, so you have no customers coming in. So they have to the end of the week to pay off the loan and pay their rent. So that's the dilemma. They got to figure that out, and it's a funny thing to watch. I think it's about a little bit over an hour 20. So it's a good in and out, good movie. Good movie. Go watch it.
That's a straight up film. I'm pretty sure it was released to theater, but I'm sure it was one of those things where it was released to HBO at the same time. And in my house, we're longtime fans of Bob's Burgers. I even got the bobblehead, or not the bobbleheads, the Funk Pops that I actually picked up from a thrift store. They were loose, so they're just sitting there in front of the TV. But yeah, I mean, like, this is I'm glad to see some of these animated shows getting their shine. I mean, we saw The Simpsons get a movie after how many years on the air. We saw South Park get a movie quite a while ago. I'm hoping they kind of do another one, but they do a lot of specials and things like that. We even saw Beavis and Butthead get out there and get their shine back in the day. I mean, Beavis and Butthead Do America. If you have not seen that one, it is freaking hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm always glad. I haven't seen it yet, but that's on my to-do list for all the stuff I got to watch, including everything else on the planet. So
yeah, but that's kind of more your alley, where you, like you said, you're in and out 120, and you don't have to think about it again.
Yeah, and that's why I tend to watch more movies than I do TV shows. But I had a couple of things that I watched. I wasn't hardcore watching this week just because of all the activities we had going. But I watched the season 2 of the show, a Netflix show called The Upshaws with Mike Epps. And it has Tootie from we just talked about Kim Fields, and it has I think it's written and produced by Wanda Sykes. It's kind of a corny show about Mike Epps owning a auto body shop in the hood, and yeah, so I mean you get a lot of different dynamics. He has a child by someone else who doesn't happen to be his wife, and they actually had I think the first episode of the premiere episode of the show when it first came out was the two kids' birthday party was on the same day, and he didn't know he had a kid or something like that. But it's one of those things, half-hour show, get in, get out, watch it and enjoy it. And have you seen this show at all? It's been on Netflix for a while.
No, I've never heard of it till you talked about it off air, and that's something that I put on the queue. So I'm pretty sure I got time to watch it. What else are you watching?
The other thing that I watched, which definitely right up my alley, another adult animation, is called Farzar. Prince Fikel and his crew. It follows Prince Fikel, I said Fikel with an F, and his crew as they venture out of their domed human city to fight the evil aliens that want to kill them. As they begin their journey, Fikel quickly discovers that it's not all what it seems, and he may be living a lie. This is a lot of Futurama in it. It has a lot of He-Man in it. There's a lot of voices that you'll recognize, and it is created by Waco Gunn and Roger Black. Waco Gunn, he is a very famous animated producer. He is known for shows like Brickleberry. If you've never seen that was a really funny show. He's a writer on that show. And Paradise PD. That's another really funny. That's another really funny animated show. So you'll recognize some of the voice talent that appears in the show. I tried to get into the show Disenchanted, which is a Mark Groening show that is basically he's the guy that created The Simpsons. Matt Groening, I'm sorry. He's the creator of The Simpsons. I tried to get into Disenchantment. This has similar vibes to that, but it's just way funnier in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you like some weird animated shows, so I'll give it a shot because I did watch on your recommendation was the He-Man. I was like, man, it's okay, but you're more of a He-Man fan.
Well, see, I grew up with He-Man. Like that was my guy. Like you have Batman, I had He-Man. Right? And He-Man wasn't a superhero; he was just a fucking big, strong guy. And like I said, I always loved He-Man because all of a sudden he was a fucking tan guy. Like, hey, he got tan. You know what I mean? Like there was no tan fucking superheroes. It was just like, hey, there's a white guy. I worship that guy. I'm like, he's a white guy.
Yeah.
Like, it made a lot more sense. Just in general, like I said, I'm a huge fan of animation anyway. I mean, we talked about Bob Burgers, we talked about Simpsons, Family Guy, South Park, all this stuff going back years and years and years. So I mean, this is absolutely right up my alley. But I mean, if you remember watching He-Man or watching any of these shows back in the day, I mean, this is definitely going to bring up some memories, and I think they just did a really good job. I mean, it's getting whatever ratings because I mean you have to kind of understand that type of comedy, but for me it was really enjoyable. I thought it was really funny.
All right, brother, I think that's the time to get out of here.
I think it is because I think I'm gonna watch some more of this show and see if Pujols can beat Juan Soto in the in the semis here. We're still in the semis. This is going to take forever. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see we'll see what happens with that. Hey, real quick, give me your All-Star Game prediction. The All-Star Game tonight.
All-Star Game, the American League wins.
American League wins because they have all the All-Stars, and the National League just brought their little brothers along. Anyway. All right, y'all. That is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. A big thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, ACSI, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirt. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 at checkout for 15% off of your entire order. That's TrueFan15. Go and get your shirts right now. Don't forget to check out our guy Danny and his crew over at ACSI.tech and check out the career section for an exciting new career in the communications industry. Go to ACSI.tech. That's ACSI.tech and click on careers to apply today. The Shy Native Radio Podcast is now available on all major platforms. Mike Logic, Ideal, and Throw MC talk about sports, movies, and all types of ill shit. Go and check them out right now. And hey, shout out to the Shy Native crew for the Shy Native Nights that just finished up on July 14th. They had a fantastic show. And if you want more information about when their next show is going to be, or if you want to submit your music to the show, or want to be on the next version of Shy Native Nights, make sure you hit up the Shy Native page on Facebook, on Instagram, and go to idealraps.com. Another really great event that we cannot wait for. It's a Music in the Woods Music Festival coming up on August 13th. It is in Big Bend Lake in Des Plaines, right off of Bender and Gulf Road. Ideal, Mike Logic, Fury, Green Lights Music, AM Early Morning, I Am God, John Bovey, and so much more. Sounds by DJ Hunt. You're going to have music performances from 11 to 7 p.m. Get your tickets right now at idealraps.com, IDEAL raps.com.
This is an all ages event. A ticket is needed for ages 12 and above. Food vendors and merchandise vendors will be on site, so bring your money.
Yeah, bring some cash and support local music, local vendors. As a matter of fact, the one vendor around here, Cerna's Grill, is right here by the crib. And they got pretty damn good food. So definitely go and check them out, and come out and have a good time. Say what's up to your boys, and just like I said, enjoy some local music. Shout out to Ronesh, Panic, Serious Beats, and custom made for the beats we play on today's show. Check out paniconthebeat.com for all your Mole Men merch and gear. And don't forget to check us out on social media. You can find us at True Shy Fans on Twitter and on TikTok. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. Reach out to us, hit the DMs. Let us know what you think about the show. If you got any ideas, if you got any questions, any topics you want us to touch on. If you have anyone out there that would like to be a sponsor of the show, you can always reach us at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. All right, y'all. This is yeah, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. You trying to run Ron Burgundy me, you son of a bitch. I see that. For Big Z, this is E-Rock. We'll see you next week for episode 106. Until then, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
Stay classy, San Diego.
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's
real.
Shut your mouth.
Lover boy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos. Show's over, show's over, show's over.